Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DiChara coming to you live once again from downtown Flushing, New York, with another amazing episode of Joe DiChara Presents How to Win at Business. And if you're watching live, please give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. For analytic purposes, I think I was told that. I don't know that much about social media or Facebook. I know enough to get in trouble, but what I do know is how to do bookkeeping, tax returns, and how to get stealth with the IRS. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I answer a lot of tax notices, a lot of tax resolution. And there's no way around that, folks. I've been doing this for over 35 years. And I wish that I counted all of the different kinds of notices and investigations that I had to conduct to track down what the problem was. And that's why tonight, I want to talk about, something that people fear, something that people lose a lot of sleep over. And I know I had my own experience, and I didn't even plan on talking about my ice cream truck experience, but I will. In tonight's training or rant or whatever you want to call it, is about getting those notices, those tax notices. And it doesn't matter where it comes from. It could be the New York City Department of Labor. Wait, there is no New York City Department of Labor. I don't think there is anyway. But it could come from any government agency. And when my clients get one of those letters, it's always from the IRS. So it could be from New York State, but when I get the frantic text and the phone call, I got a letter from the IRS, just like I got one today. So I have a client, and new business owners are nervous. I mean, I was. And hey, Eric, how are you? Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, hiring a CPA, that's a good solution. But what I found, Eric, is not everybody has a year-round CPA, especially brand new business owners and solopreneurs. This is the fact. That's why I started targeting the 25 million sole proprietors. Because that's 25 million people that probably don't really have an accountant. They might have a guy they go to every year to do their taxes, but they don't have a go-to person when they get some of these notices. So, I wish our friend Elizabeth was here, because I think she likes the story about when I got into business. Before I graduated college, I decided I was going to try like a legitimate business and do everything by the book, including keeping my books and records. And I actually signed a lease on an ice cream truck to run it as a business. And because I didn't want to get like a stupid job that all of my friends were getting, I wanted to be my own boss, and I was going to prove that I could do it. So I did it. I made money. I had fun. It was like a dream come true. And then I graduated, and I got a CPA job, and I was ready to conquer the world. Okay. And 6 months into my job, I got a letter from New York State that had a big red stamp on it that said tax warrant. And I thought that my life was over. I had no idea what I had done. I didn't sleep for 3 days and nights. And you would think, because I was working in a CPA office, that, what's the big deal? But I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell the people that just hired me that I had this tax problem and that I might need a tax attorney or something. And this was in the days before the internet. So, my options were running through my head, who do I call? Yellow Pages. I'll get a tax attorney. And then one day I got the courage to ask one of the CPAs what the letter was about. And he looked at it, he said, there's a number on it. Why don't you call them? And it turned out that some of the documents that I signed was I was registered as a sales tax vendor, even though I didn't have to collect sales tax. But New York State expected some kind of information from me. They expected a form. Now, luckily, I knew enough to save all of my documents. So when that happens, I was a seasonal business. All they wanted was one form that said, I'm out of business. I was in business for 3 months. That's it. No harm, no foul. And that was a shock. And I still remember it, the way that it felt. And that's why when my client, at first he calls me, and I knew, because we have a protocol, you email me, you text, what's the question, and then so I get an email, call me right away. Right away, that's it. And, in accounting, I worked for a CPA once, and I couldn't stand the guy. But he said something that was profound. And he said, there are no emergencies in accounting. There are no accounting emergencies unless, well, I told him, I said, well, what about the time that there was an IRS agent with a gun outside of my client's door? Well, yeah, that's sort of an emergency. But that only happened once to me in over 35 years. So when somebody gets a notice, I understand that fear. Oh my God, what did I do? And yeah, I see that, Eric. So anyway, I thought maybe I would take away some of the mystery, some of the things that happen, some of the things you could look for. And maybe take away some of that fear and anxiety, because the bottom line is, folks, if you're in business, you're getting stuff. You're getting mail. You're getting emails. And you can't ignore them. But you can identify them. Okay. And so the bulk of the mail that comes is actually junk mail. It's junk mail. It's the government informing you of your rights, of this, of that. But a lot of times they're asking for stuff. And so you have to identify, are they asking for something, or are they just like notifying me? And that's the first step. Actually, the first step is to actually look at the envelope and see who is it coming from? Is it the Department of Treasury, the IRS? Is it the Social Security Administration? Is it the state income tax division? So once you identify where is this coming from, you put it into a category. Okay, this isn't the IRS. This is, I'm not that worried. Although the truth is, the worst letters come from the sales tax people and the state payroll departments. That's what you really got to watch out for. But I thought I would just if you've never gotten one of these, and I get these like almost daily now, and there's a reason for that, and I'll tell you. So when you get something that says amount due immediately, I immediately, and this is from, and this one, okay, so this one even even went further. This is a notice of intent to levy. Now, what happened, and what that means is, well, they've been sending notices, you haven't responded, and now they're saying, listen, you got 30 days, either pay this or we're going to find your bank account and we're going to take it. Or if you got a refund coming from a state or anything, we're going to take it. So you can't ignore it. Now, the story behind this one is my client never got the letters. Well, he didn't get them because he didn't check his PO box, but that's what he thinks. I'm getting a lot of these now. Notices of intent to levy where there's got to be like 2 or 3 notices that come before this one. So when you get a notice of intent to levy, it's like somebody's not paying attention. Now, I know this client and he pays attention. So when I start getting a pattern of these, I said something's off. And what I believe is COVID. That's what happened. So I'm going to keep talking about this issue because a lot of people are getting a lot of notices because it's being spit out from a machine. This is not people generated. This is all machine driven. And people run the machines, but if the people weren't operating the machines, things have malfunctioned, folks. Things have malfunctioned on every level of the government, state, local, federal. So this is the world that we're in right now. And so this is something that's urgent. Now, with this one, I hope you don't get one of these, but the other part of this is that we have rights. We have taxpayer rights. They can't just come in. There's supposed to be some kind of process. And one of the things is, and they tell you in the letter to call. And if you've been trying to call them the last couple of days, like I have, what you get is, please call back tomorrow. Please call back tomorrow. So they're understaffed as usual. Okay. And if you get one of these letters, you have to just keep trying. You have to just keep trying. Now, you call them. So what we did in this case, because we have been trying and not getting through, but we already sent a letter. The day we got the notice, we sent a letter saying, we don't agree with why you're saying we owe this, which goes back to, the initial, one of the initial things that I said, which was, you got to figure out what is the letter about. So in this case, they claim they were sending letters that he didn't file his extension for his corporate return. And I know that he did. He knows he did. I don't think he has proof of mailing, and that's what the problem is. Again, it's COVID related because he sent in his extension and it did not get processed. So they're saying it was late. It was due March 15th. I have 4 other clients like this where they said it wasn't filed and it was, but with those clients, we actually have proof. So you didn't have to pay anything with this extension. So we're going to beat it. There is no penalty. He has what they call reasonable cause. And my instructions to him are don't pay it. I hope that we get through to them, but he doesn't owe the money. And if they take it, then we got to go through a whole process to get the penalty abated and then get the refund. Then we get, other notices like this, which is one, this is just a single taxpayer, a simple solution. But again, what they're saying is proposed amount on here. Okay, I covered up all the data, but it says proposed amount. So if we don't respond to this, eventually it'll be a levy. It won't be proposed anymore. They'll say, listen, we want the money now. When it gets to that point, then it's in crisis mode. So this morning, I get the call from my client, and he got one of these intent to levy, because but that wasn't a surprise to me, because we knew that he owed money, and we are waiting to file this year's return so that if he owes, we just do it all in one agreement. So, you know, the solution to that one was simple. He just went online and made an installment agreement. But the point is that he called me all in a panic. Okay. All he had to do was pay them $100. He had it, and end of story. But you can't run a business if you're under panic like that. So let me see. Oh, another one. So in this case, this is a strange one. They want supporting documentation. This is a case, again, because of COVID. We filed a return correctly, and he had, you know, from Obamacare, his parents had a premium tax credit, and somehow that rippled back to him, because that's how, again, it's data, folks, and it was connected to him. He was not a dependent on their return, but they've held up his tax refund. We filed in February, and they have held up his tax refund. This is almost a year now. And we had to jump through hoops. Now we have the information, so now I could finally answer them. So here's the moral of the story. And Eric, you know, had it right in the beginning. If you don't have a tax person, an accountant, I don't mean a tax preparer. You need one. If you're running a business, you need to have somebody that you could just contact and say, what is this about? Is it something I need to address? You know, because there's always a solution to it. And 9 times out of 10, just because they say that you owe them money is not always the case. If there's penalties involved, a lot of times I can get those abated. Okay, and that has to do with what they call reasonable cause. And I think maybe we'll do what reasonable cause is one day, because most people don't know this. I have gotten millions and millions of dollars in penalties abated based on reasonable cause. And I'll give you one example. Reasonable cause is when you have relied on a professional. So keep that in mind, okay? So if you got notices and penalties and from a bad accountant or tax preparer, you may have what they call reasonable cause. So hopefully, you know, I've given you some information that's going to help you run your business better and maybe not pay money that isn't due, and also expect the notices, expect the mail. There's no way around it. So if you know it's coming, then don't be surprised when you get a letter that says balance due. Okay. Have somebody that you could connect with that can confirm if it is due. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. I will be back again tomorrow with more amazing information for small business owners. Thank you.